Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are live. Happy Tuesday evening, everyone. All right, just one moment. That is so harsh, isn't it? Okay, let's try that. Hello, happy Tuesday evening. This is a very impromptu sort of stream here right now. Hope everyone is having lovely holidays. It is now Tuesday, December 28th at about 6:45 in the evening. And basically, I'm changing the name of the stream from the Actors Dojo because it's already been taken several times over to the Actors Ashram. Um, and basically, what an ashram is, it's basically a temple where people get the and practice yoga and meditation and things like that. And being a 30-year practitioner of yoga, it just makes sense. So, what I want to do for this evening, I'm not going to get into any particular instruction or techniques or any of that stuff. But what I wanted to kind of demonstrate to you is something over the course of the years I had put together, which is kind of a performer's physical and vocal warm-up prior to giving a performance, whether it be on stage, television, you're going to give a speech, you're going to do whatever sort of performance that you're going to do. And, over the years, as I was involved in theater for a very long time, I witnessed a whole lot of people that had just different ways that they would approach the warm up, the physical preparation for this, and it's just like any other sort of physical activity. I don't care if it's ballet or baseball or kung fu or swimming or whatever it is. You must warm up your body and whatever parts of your body you're going to use. You've got to pay particular attention to them prior to going into doing this performance or event or sport or demonstration or whatever. Because if you just sort of go in full force without warming up, obviously you're going to hurt yourself, and we don't need that. So, first thing, water. Um, you know, I love caffeine as much as the next person, but you do have to be careful about how much caffeine you put into your body because you don't want to have a caffeine crash in the middle of your event. And also, it is a diuretic, and it does actually deplete you of water, and you need water, particularly for your voice. So that's number one. That's kind of advice for life. So it sort of has occurred to me over the course of years, particularly when we're talking about performers. The physical aspects that really come into play pretty much for all actors, all performers, is first of all breathing. If you're not breathing properly, your voice is not going to come out as well as it should. You risk hurting your voice, hurting your vocal cords. If your breathing is restricted, you're not going to move as freely. You're going to have trouble speaking. And also, if we're talking about performances and things like that, getting stage fright, getting nervous, anxiety, things like that are very, very common. And, we have people in class sometimes, so before they start out, they apologize for being nervous. And the person will say, please don't be nervous. We all get nervous. But one thing that the breathing will do is it can really help to calm any anxiety, any kind of nerves you may be having. And it beats taking pills, or drinking or drugs or any of those other things that people do to get their anxiety and their nerves to calm down. Just breathing. But it's got hydration, breathing, um, core strength, and if you're breathing properly, you come to have that core strength. But core strength and flexibility are very important, and it also a sense of rhythm. is a very good thing to do. And I want to be careful how I do this because I don't want to play music and have the YouTube police sort of come in and go, "You're playing copyrighted music, and we're going to shut your video down." So I don't want to do that, but that's something that I do want to start speaking more about in these streams and also in the class that we're teaching. But a sense of rhythm, and also, and we haven't really talked about this a whole lot, but music, and not just for the rhythm, but just for the feelings it brings out in all of us. A lot of actors, myself included, use music to get into what a character may be thinking or feeling. And also just dancing is a beautiful thing. Moving in tone or moving in time to the music um, is just wonderfully freeing. It's wonderfully freeing. And the other thing is a sense of balance. Um, that if you have a sense of balance, you're just going to move better on stage and on camera in general. Now, I'm going to point out before I do much about balance is I personally am challenged in the area of balance because I have got my left foot actually. Um, I actually have a flat foot on my left side, and I've had a couple of like sports-related injuries. One on my left ankle, one on my right knee, and it's so when it comes to the subject of balance, I personally am challenged. So I have to pay particular attention to it because if I don't, I will go off balance. So, and that is something I address in my yoga practice. So, basically, with those things in mind, this is kind of, if I were to go on stage in the next 15 minutes or something like that, 15, 20 minutes, I would do things like this. I would probably start off and just get settled and start with just breathing and putting my hands on my belly button and the general belly button area. And just to get my diaphragm working. If you know what a diaphragm is, if you look at sort of the upside down V where your ribs come together, your sternum is here, and the upside down V goes that way. Diaphragm is right there. So diaphragmatic breathing, we talk about that a lot, but that's for another point. So just to get this, just to kind of steady my nerves and get in touch with my breathing and to get in touch with my core for the core strength. We'll do something like this. And be just as absolutely gentle with yourself as is possible. Don't start out the gate at 60 miles an hour. Start slow. And after I would do this for a minute or two, then I would start gently making vowel sounds. But in the meantime, what I would start to do first is when I inhale, let's see how slowly I could comfortably being the key word, comfortably inhale. And then how long can I comfortably hum and sustain that that comfortable sort of tone. And each time that I would do it, I try to make it a little bit longer, but it backing off at the point where it's like I'm feeling strained to the point of it being uncomfortable. So I would do something like this. I'll try to go a little bit longer, get all my air out. And one more time. This time I'll make it actually a couple of seconds. And for all practical purposes, what you want to try to do with this is have however long you're inhaling for, make the sound be as close to the exact same amount of time. Have your inhale match your exhale. And when you do that, if you are having any kind of nervousness, any sort of anxiety, any kind of jitters, butterflies in the belly that we all get, that actually can take the edge off of the nerviness. So then at that point, the flexibility. Now there's a thing, and it's I learned this when I was studying Tai Chi. There's a lot of things you can do, but I remember hanging out with these actors doing plays, and we would all get together on stage, and we would do these different warm-ups prior to the curtain going up, and they all have to do with the joints of your body and wherever you can make circles. And you would make the circles, and you'd start small. You'd start with your wrists. Now, and then years later, when I started doing Tai Chi, there's this one form, I believe it's one of the short forms. I believe it's Chin style. I may be mistaken about this, but there's an exercise that's called band heating. And it sort of goes like this. It's any place on your body, any of your joints where you can make circles. You start there and you start small, and then do an equal amount of rotations in each direction on both sides of your body. And it would look something like this. You would start with your wrists, and then you go to your elbows, and as you're doing this, however long you're inhaling for, make sure, or just do the best you can to see that you are exhaling for the same duration of time. So I'll just shut up and go like this. Start with the elbows, and then up to the shoulders. And this is a good one, but you can actually, to this shoulder thing here, this part of the band heating exercises, this is where you can actually start to warm up your voice simultaneously. Um, it would go something like, ah, ah, and then inhale on the up, noise on the down, ha, do different vowels, ho, he, and I'm consciously relaxing, so whatever projection I'm getting, it's not coming out of me forcing anything. Quite the contrary, it's actually me relaxing, and that's where the volume and the resonance come from. But you would do some neck rolls again. And go around. This is also a good one to do some voice with. And go, oh, oh, ooh, ooh. And that should actually feel really good. When you're in the process of doing these things, it's kind of like an all over body. It's sort of like a self massage. Um, this should actually, if you have any sort of aches and pains, any kinks, any stiffness from the day, this is where you get it. This is where you sort of get it out of you, sort of massage it out of you. Now this is another one, just the spinal twist. And again, another good one to put voice into. But this also, the thing about this in particular is that you're turning really from here, from, from like the base of your spine, and from just below your belly button. And this is where you get in touch with the core strength. Core strength and flexibility are very important because if you have core and if you have the flexibility, you stand a much less chance of getting hurt if you are in any sort of situation that can hurt you. But this is actually one of my favorite ones right here. Um, you sort of twist like this, and as you're doing, also, remember to breathe and put some voice into it. Ah. Inhale towards the center, exhale towards the side. Ho. he, ho, who, hey, I, E, O, you, hey, he, hi, ho, who. And then the other part of that, you take your hands, put them on the small of your back, you're going to push your hips forward, and you're going to go in circles. And this is one move, I believe it is called, in Tai Chi, I believe it's called Beautiful Woman Turns Her Wrist. So this one also, it should feel really good on your lower back. Ha, ho, hey, he, hi, oh, ooh. Then you would move down to your knees. I'll move back for this. With your feet spread apart. And make circles with your knees going outwards and then going inwards. And then lastly, you would do your ankles. Now this, again, this is kind of where I'm a bit challenged. Um, but you make circles with your ankles going in both directions. Now, in as far as the subject of balance, generally speaking, your body's going to be in much better balance, much better alignment if your breathing is dialed in and focused, and you've got the inhale equaling the exhale. Um, and then there are some people like me who just plain have these physical kind of accidents that have happened, and balance for me, I would say, is a challenging thing. So you can, if you wish, and I'm going to demonstrate badly, but there's things in yoga called the tree pose and things like this. And there's like these still static balances. Okay. For me personally, because of my own, because of my injuries and stuff like that, um, I am way better off doing things that are moving balances. Um, and there's a couple things I will show you about that. And it's really important also that as you are finding your balance, okay, you turn in this one, you're turning side to side, and then you're reaching across your body, or you can be punching like you would in like a kickboxing sort of a thing. But do this, and then you sort of cross over your center line. And when you're in the process of crossing over your center line of your body, you're finding the center line of your body, and once you connect to that, you actually are able to balance better. Now, the one I like, and the one that really, or the few that really help me, is you put your hands on your shoulders like this, and then kick, and then cross your body as you kick. This, for me, personally, is one of the exercises that really helps me find balance, because I sort of have to be creative with it. If you kick across the center line of your body, and then reach across the center line of your body. And I think I've explained this before, but part of the method of the madness of those two exercises is that as you are doing the crossing of the central line of your body in an equal amount of repetitions, what you're doing is you're actually activating both sides of your brain simultaneously, equally and simultaneously. And that just helps you with creative thought. If you're in a situation also, if you're going to do a lot of improvisation, getting both sides of your brain working at the same time, and there's some science behind this. So I would really, aside from the subject of balance, of physical balance, it's also mental balance. So that works really well. The other thing, there's a couple of Tai Chi moves I find that help really also quite well when it comes to balance. Is the one called wave hands like clouds or cloud hands. And basically, and also this is good for focus. Your eyes as an actor is very, very, very important. And this one, what you do is if you stare at the palm, you bring up the palm of your hand and you stare into the palm of your hand, and then bring up the other hand, put that hand in front of the first hand, and then follow around. When you get to the side, switch hands. And if you can do it, move side to side. All the while maintaining focus on the palm of the hand. And the other exercise I really like doing, it's, I believe it's called Golden Crane Spreads Its Wings. I may be wrong about that, but it's called spreading wings. And basically, your arms are doing this, but you're going from side to side on a lateral, and you're sort of standing on one foot. Now, personally, if I had to just stand on one foot and hold it, I, it would be, it would just not, work. But I find, if I can actually find my point of balance, my center of balance in movement. You can find it in standing still, you can find it in moving, but again, as I said, if you have issues like I do, you can find your balance much easier in movement. But the exercise goes like this. So there's that, and then basically, those are the physical movements. Now, what is generally a good idea to do is, it's as far as your performance warm up goes. Um, First, you want to warm up your body, and then once your body is warmed up, then you warm up your voice. And remember, water breaks. And these are some of the voice exercises that I used to do, and that I still do, just prior to um, going on stage for a performance. But it would go like this. I give my face a good massage. Yeah. Make sure the jaw's nice and loose. And yes, this is the stuff that makes you look like a raving maniac. I fully understand that. But it does work. So massage your throat. And then take your fingers, just make either really, really loose fists, or just make your fingers kind of like claws, and just do some vowel sounds. Me, me, my, mo, moo. Me, me, my, mo, moo. There's all these different things you can just pick and choose as you wish. Peter Piper picked the pickled peppers. What a pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. It's just any amount of tongue twisters, silly, just any kind of silly warm-ups that you can do. Um, Now, and I do think it is very important, uh, when you go to do this, I realize you're going to be in places where it's like backstage or it's on a set or whatever. Just, I would beg, plead, and implore you, please do something. You don't have to do what I'm doing exactly, because this is a very personal process. Acting in general is a very personal process. Um, but do something. Do something. But in short, my vocal warm up would start with vowels, then it would go into the enunciation and the articulation. And I would be very, very um, conscious of making sure that as I'm making these sounds, I'm as physically relaxed as is possible. You can stretch a bit. Oh, A-E-I-O-U. 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 And then luddle laddle, 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 luddle laddle. And in fact, probably what when I was still in school, the vocal warm-ups we used to do pretty much every day went like this. Would go, mm, ah, mo, me. You don't have to sing perfect scales, but just see, just go from the low part of your range to the higher part of your range, doing whatever tune. Don't worry about sounding good or being on pitch or on key or any of that stuff. Just I-E-I-E-I-O-I-O-U, I-E-I-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-E, 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 U-I-A, 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 U-I-A. And then you get into the articulation, and you on your vowels and get to your consonants. And that was the stuff that went like tippet, pipet, tippet, pipet, tippet, pipet, tippet, pipet, tippet, pipet. Tatica, 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 tatica. Buddy gutta, buddy gutta, buddy gutta, buddy gutta, buddy gutta. Um, and oh, then there was red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, big black block, 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 big black block. And then, of course, at this point, you're getting warmed up, so you can see if you can project a bit and do things like a loud sound, a round tone, hold your vowels, and things such as that. And then the thing that really, and the one thing that really helps also, and one last thing, and this is the thing that really makes you look crazy, it's just plain shaking. Just shake all parts of your body and make some noise at the same time. Start with your hands, and don't do anything so hard that you're gonna, hurt yourself, but just get shaken. And then start with the arms, and then feel the shake goes up the shoulders, and it goes in the chest, and it goes into the neck, and chest, and it gets into the hips and knees, and you start to shake around with your body as you make sound. And then slowly reach up. And what's happening here is that you're stretching out your lung capacity. So get a good in breath here, and then just as slowly as you possibly can, exhale through your nose. Finish off by doing this a couple of times. And again, try to make the inhale, the duration of the inhale match the duration of the exhale. So hopefully this helps. It's if you're going to stick around in acting for any amount of time, I would really encourage you. come up with the stuff that helps you personally to warm up. This is just stuff that I would do. There's a million other, acting techniques and warm-ups, and other teachers have other interpretations. And you know what? If it works for you, use it. And it's really, I really must reiterate, don't go on stage cold. Don't go on stage without doing something. Whatever it may be, whatever works for you is what you should do. So, on that note, right about here, we'd be standing waiting for the curtain to go up and a bunch of people out in the audience. And right about here is where we all look at each other and go, and let's do this. You know, and then we hear the orchestra and the curtain would go up, and it was just amazing. Um, I learned more doing theater than I could have ever learned in any school. I learned about myself, I learned about other people, I learned about literature and everything that I learned so much about myself and about other people through the course of acting. It's the greatest education I've ever received. And for this I'm very grateful. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope any of this is helpful. And I will see you all very soon. Much love, many blessings, and hope you guys are having a good day. So, on that note, we end stream.